Hello, hi, good evening, and a very warm welcome to all of you in today's webinar. We will wait for a couple of minutes to allow everyone to join in and settle down, and then we'll get started with today's discussion. In the meantime, while we are waiting for the other participants to join in, there are a few important things that I would want to share with you. The first one and the most important one is how are we going to interact in today's session? Because by now you may have already realized this that this is not a Zoom meeting. It is a Zoom webinar where you don't have the feature or you don't have the convenience of unmuting yourself and asking the question. So how are we going to interact? It is not going to be a monologue wherein I will just talk and you will listen. We will keep it interactive, which means we will keep sharing ideas and thoughts with each other. Now, to do that, we will be using two things. One is chat, which I think AI bots have already started using them. Okay, we have participants also who have started chatting. So chat is something that we are going to use quite extensively. The second tool which we will be using is Q&A. And Q&A is something which I would recommend that we should keep more for the question. So if there's anything or wherein you want me to elaborate on it, that is something that you can put in, or there's something else that you would want to discuss other than what we are covering in today's session. You can also add that in the Q&A. So any question that you have, you can put it in Q&A. Where will you find Q&A? So it is there in the more options. If you look down below, if you are joining through a smartphone, then you will find it in the menu, and there you will find there's a question mark on top of it. So it is something that you should be using for asking questions. The second is chat, and that's where I should also welcome you all. So I've also chatted. So like that, that's the other medium we are going to use for today's interactions. Now, I will very quickly uh, start presenting my screen and we will proceed ahead with today's discussion. And I can see there are a few participants who have just joined. So let me welcome them as well. So hi, good evening, and a very warm welcome to all of you in today's webinar. And we are now getting started with our discussion. So I quickly mentioned to the other attendees that we are going to use chat and Q&A. Q&A is something that you should use for questions, and chat is something which we'll use for our interactions to share our thought, exchange ideas, etc. So for that, we will be using today's chat. All right, so this is where we'll get started with today's discussion. And once again, good evening and a very warm welcome to all of you in today's webinar. Perfect. So in next few seconds, you'll start seeing my screen and we will move ahead with our discussion. So just allow me a few moments to do that. Now, while I am starting the screen share, I will share a quick introduction about myself because I am not sure how many of you had the chance of attending my previous webinars or how many of you are familiar with me. So that's where let me give a quick introduction about myself. My name is Adnan. I am Director Digital Commerce at Global Inker. I have about 20 years of experience in digital and technology. And at Global Inker, I head the digital commerce products, the marketplaces, the online store builder platform, and other initiatives that we have in India and other countries. The other role that I play and something which is very close to my heart is public speaking and training, wherein I conduct a lot of training workshops, webinars, seminars, etc., and try to share as much knowledge and information with business owners so that they can effectively use digital technology. And why it is very important, because if you look around, there are plenty of technology tools available, but how many of us actually know how to use them? There is a gap, and thankfully with AI, that gap is getting filled in, and we will be discussing more about AI. But because of that knowledge gap, a lot of businesses are not able to achieve what they aspire. And that's where I try to contribute as much as possible by conducting as many of these sessions. I've done more than 500 such sessions in India, and other countries have stopped counting after 500, but certainly more than 500. And I had the wonderful opportunity of connecting and interacting with about 19,000 businesses in various countries. So that's a quick introduction about myself. I'll share my contact detail with all of you, and all of you are more than welcome to connect with me through email, through phone, or through WhatsApp, whatever is more convenient to you. I'll prefer WhatsApp and email. Phone is something I may not be able to answer it proactively, but whenever I get time, I will certainly get back to you. All right, so this is where we will now start sharing the screen. There is a little delay there, although it starts immediately, but I think there is a little delay. I'll appreciate if uh, someone from the audience can confirm that you are able to see the screen. You can just chat yes, or is it visible? Because I have the preview open on the live stream preview open on the other monitor, but it there's a lag. It takes a few seconds to show up there. So perfect. I can see, and thank you everyone. I can't take everyone's name and personally thank, but thank you, all of you, for confirming that you are able to see my screen. All right, so this is where we are getting started with today's discussion. What are you going to understand? Sorry, I accidentally clicked on it. So, what are we going to understand or discuss in today's webinar? We all had been experiencing AI, right, in all our lives. I don't think there is anyone who has not experienced AI. And we had been using them. In fact, this presentation, which you are seeing on your screen, is created by AI. My ideas, but it designed it. Right. So, in the similar fashion, we have been using AI, and I don't think there's anyone who will doubt that it is not helping us do things better. It is not helping us become more productive. Yes, it is, in fact, helping us. But that leads to that question: how ready are we for AI? And not from the knowledge perspective that we are expert prompt engineer, or we have mastered the art of writing prompts or using AI, or we have degree in Python. Not from that perspective, from our business's perspective. Tomorrow, if a international buyer ask AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, whatever tool they are using, or any specialized, so there are specialized tool for corporates also, but whatever tool they are using, if they ask AI to find you or product in your business, will you get a recommended? And why are you not getting recommended? What are the gaps? That is what we are going to discuss and understand in today's session. All right, so I am going to start with a story, and if you had a chance to attend one of my previous webinar, I have covered the same story there, so you may find it a little repetitive, but this is more for the newer audience that we have who are here with us. So very quickly, I'll share with you a story, and we will then build on that story. All right, so let's get started. So many, many years ago, there used to live a very, very skilled artisan called Arvind. He was phenomenally good at his craft and the handloom and stitching and creating wonderful and magnificent dresses. So that was Irwin, but he had this personal philosophy that his art, his skill should speak for himself. And that's where he used to live in the outskirts of the city, and didn't had a showroom in the market, and used to work from a small workshop that he had in his house outside the city. And whosoever wants to get the work done, they have to go to his place and get the work done. Now, the kingdom where Arvind lived, they had a ruler who was very fond of dressing nicely. So he wanted the best dress to be there for himself, and his birthday was coming in next 7 days. So he went to his wardrobe and looked at all the dresses. And after a while, he was frustrated and angry because all the dresses were the ones he had previously worn. And his disciples have seen them. So that's where he wanted to have something unique. And that's where he also realized that all the dresses he had were from the artisans of his city, his capital city, and their art or their way of working or their way of style was very similar. So what they will create will be almost similar to what he has already won. And he wanted something very, very unique. So that's where he ordered his servants that you should go to every nook and corner. I don't know how you'll do it, but you have to get a very unique dress for me before my birthday. That was his order. So the servants were terrified and they immediately went to one of the ministers, and because they were not sure where should we go, and they were sweating and they were uh, extremely under pressure, because if they are not able to, king will chop their heads. So that's where they went to a minister and requested him, begged him that you should please help us. We have been given this task, and if we don't fulfill it, king will banish us. So that's where that minister advised them that you should be going to this city called Surajpur. In that city, you'll find a lot of artisans, and they have a very unique art form, and have never seen our king wear a dress which is of that art form. So you should go there and get that dress made. So immediately the servants went off. They reached Surajpur, but by the time they reached, it was already closed. So they went to an eatery to eat their dinner, and that's where they asked the owner of the eatery that this is the task that has been assigned to us. We have to find artisans in your city. Where can we find them? So he suggested that you should be going to a street called Poshak Street or Poshak Gully. And in that Poshak Gully, you'll find all the nice artisans, or the most popular ones and the most skilled ones. You'll find them because the servants were already under tremendous pressure. So they immediately went, even in the late hours of the night. They went to the Poshak Street, and obviously the entire street were deserted. There were no one there, but they strolled through the street and they noticed that many of the shops, because it had hundreds of shops, that Poshak Gully and Poshak Street had hundreds of shops, but many of them had these very nice and fancy signboards. So they decided that instead of going to each and every shop and then seeing what work the artisan is doing, and which will take us a lot of time, we should act smartly and we should only be taking the stores which have these very fancy and nice signboard, because that suggests these artisans are quite skilled. So they decided, and immediately first thing in the morning they did that. They went and they reviewed those artisans or the craftsmen, and then they awarded the contract to one of the artisan who had a very nice shop. Now that artisan started working on that, and parallelly our Irwin, who had a shop at in the outskirts of the city, and no one knew about him other than the locals, he continued creating his phenomenal dresses. And after some time, when the dress was ready, obviously it was a very prestigious occasion for the city, and almost everyone from the city gathered to see that the king's dress is getting delivered. And our Arvind was also there as part of the crew. And despite the fact that our Arvind was the most skilled person, the most skilled artisan, and no one could have created a better dress for him than Arvind, but he didn't get the contract. Someone else has got. Now, we may feel that it was servants' shortcoming. How come they ignore them? We understand that they have to act swiftly, they have to act quickly, and Arvind was not very visible. So unless someone local told him, "Hey, you are doing wrong," they could not have, right? So it is not like a deliberate mistake that they have done. They acted smartly in the least amount of time they had to do that, and they were able to achieve what they were assigned to do. But that resulted in a loss of once in a lifetime opportunity for our Arvind. Now, Why am I telling this story to you? Because, like the king, now all of us have these servants, and which are the AI tools that are out there. So your customers are also using them to find you, to evaluate you, to understand about you, and to judge you. Now, that's where it is important and essential for all of us to become ready. And the sad reality is, and this is where I'll take a moment to share my personal experience. So, almost like 9 months ago, I was working on one of the AI enhancement projects. So, one of the tools we were trying to embed in the Global Inca ecosystem. So, we were working on that with the product team. And that's where I had this thought that, okay, we are building these capabilities to make the content richer, sharper, and ready for search and AI. We are doing that. But how ready are our businesses for this? Curiously, I went to five businesses whom I personally knew, and I deliberately chose them because they were tech savvy individuals. So I thought that these businesses should be ready. Those five businesses should be ready. That was my hypothesis, or that was my assumption. I went to them, I told them, I want to review your business and I want to see, are you ready for AI? And they were happy. Yes, sure, do that. I reviewed all of them, and shockingly, none of them was ready. Then I went to others, more businesses. Again, most of them, almost 99% of them, were not ready. So that is the reality. And what is the core problem to AI understandability? The core problem is, and why this is important to understand what is the core problem. Unless AI understands you, it is not going to recommend you. Right? That is the core problem. Now, a lot of businesses, when I interact with them, they are slightly myopic because traditionally we had been, or our exposure to technology has been very lead or order oriented. You list with us and you'll get orders. You list with us and you'll get lead. That has been our orientation, and that is how our psychology or our thought process has been hardwired. But that's where we'll have to make that change, and we have to focus on our presence, our visibility. Like, how much are we understandable, right? Imagine there's a person who has to understand your business in detail. Now, without calling you or without writing an email to you, can they do that? That is what is missing. And the core problem is no one has actually built for AI. That's is reality, because all the websites, everything that we created was all created for us, human beings. It was not created for AI. No one imagined, like, I created websites 2 years ago. AI didn't existed, or even if it existed, the use cases were very limited, right? So even the websites which are getting created today, because I review websites almost on a daily basis, even the websites which were created last week, many of them are not created keeping AI in perspective, keeping AI as an audience of that website, just for human beings. Fancy design, nothing for AI. So even if the website is there, if even if the information is there, AI will not understand anything, right? So that is the core problem. The second is the recommendability. And that's where I would want to ask a question, and you can share your response in the chat. Now, would you recommend me? And this is where, just be honest. And ex- I, I can imagine there will be exceptions. There will be members in the audience who knew me quite well, so they can uh, be exceptional. But just based on our interaction, for last what 20 odd minutes, would you recommend me or my service to your friend? Yes or no? What do you think? All right. So there are a lot of people who are saying yes, I am impressed. But let's be realistic. You don't know me that well. I've just given an introduction. Yes, there is, not now. There's Akshay and Abhishek who's saying, no, yes, absolutely. You are being honest, and I appreciate that because you don't know me well. Same applies for AI also. It has to know you in detail to recommend you, right? So that is where the gap lies, that if AI does not know you, and this is where, for a moment, I'll also help you understand where the shift has happened because a lot of people confuse between search and AI and how are they different. So imagine that you deal in a product. Let's say you deal in black pepper. Now, if you have black pepper as a product listed on your website and you have the relevant keywords, you will be there on the search. It is a different story whether you are on will be on the first page or 10th page or 100th page or 1000th page, you will be there in that list. But with AI, that is not true. AI will recommend, and it may or may not recommend just because you have the product. Having a black pepper listed on your website is no guarantee that AI is going to recommend you. That's where this understanding comes into play. AI has to understand you. It has to understand a lot of things about your business. Then it is going to recommend you. So that is what I wanted to convey with this question. Now, what has transitioned, and this is something which we all understand, so we are not going to spend a lot of time, but just to highlight to everyone. So the king who is there, that person is transitioned to a global procurement head. The servant is uh, the AI algorithms or AI systems. There the signboards are the digital architecture, and the ancient Irwin is transformed into a modern exporter who's trying to grow their business, is transformed into you. Right? So this is the transformation that has happened. Now, what is the main source of AI's understandability of your business? And I had been saying that for a while. So, but just I'm curious if you're able to understand or relate to it. So, what do you think? This is where I was looking for answers. What do you think is the main source of AI's understandability of your business? Okay, Sandeep has replied data. From where will it get data? It obviously can't pull the data from uh, air, so it has to have a source. And a lot of you are absolutely correct. Social media presence, Sampada, social media presence is auxiliary. It takes into that consideration, but it is not the primary source. SEO is certainly not. Right prompt, no, it is not. Uh, our own talking to AI, it gives AI certain inputs, etc., but no. So, not taking everyone's time. Yes, website is the primary source. Social media is ancillary. SEO is something that you are doing on the website. You are improving the content, you are sharing the backlinks. So that is not the source. Other than that, your interactions with social media, it gives, but the basic understanding or the basic construct that AI has about your business, that is all coming from your website. Yes. So website is the most critical component in the entire equation. Now, having a website makes your business AI understandable. What do you think? Yes or no? You have a website and you are AI, understandably, AI understands about me. What do you think? Yes or no? What are your thoughts? And I am surprised. All of you are absolutely correct. No, so I think there's someone who replied yes, no. Owning a website does not guarantee that you are AI understandable. AI may or may not. You may have a very fancy looking website, almost beautiful looking website, super impressive website, and AI may not be able to understand a thing from it. Yes. So this is a very big myth, and that's why I deliberately asked it as a question. Having a website is no guarantee that AI understands about you, right? And this is where I have seen tons of websites in the last 8, 9 months, and I cannot tell you what kind of issues I have noticed. I've even noticed like there are websites who are like phenomenally good looking, but from performance wise, there's nothing that I could understand. Even I have found websites which are not even indexed on Google, and that website had been there for last 5 years or 3 years. Not even a single page was indexed. So the point is, having a website is no guarantee, and we'll try to review a few websites in this session also to debunk this myth. But let's move ahead. So when it comes to making a business AI recommendable or AI understandable, I take back my words. That was a fumble on my part. Making a business AI understandable, right? So for that, what are the pillars on which your AI understandability or your business's AI understandability sits? Your identity, your information about the business, your capability, which is the product or services that you're offering, the trust, and technical readiness. Now, if any of these pillars are here and there, you will have a issue with your AI understandability. And before we move ahead, let's do this very quick thing. You can share your website in the chat. Let's take 4, 5 volunteers and we will review them, and that way, because so far I'd just been talking through the presentation, and I can imagine that many of the things that I am saying may be difficult to relate. So that's where we will very quickly do this exercise. And in my previous webinars, I used to review a lot of websites, but then it is not possible to review every once, and a lot of people felt a little disheartened. So I will try to review 5, 6, or 7. Let's take 7 today. So we'll review 7 today, and we will try to see what are the gaps. And this is where uh, the objective of the exercise is not to point out that you have done this wrong, you have done that wrong. The point is to help all of you understand where gaps are. So I think we already have 4. Let's open one more. 5. This is the 6th one. Now, if I am not able to cover your website in today's review, don't worry. I will initiate a quiz shortly, and you can submit your website, and I'll do a review, and I will share with you a quick 2-minute recording highlighting what are the findings of my review. So I'll start that shortly. Let me just open one more. And all right, why is this website getting flagged by my antivirus? So this is where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not opening for. Let's try once more. So we will use, we'll replace it with another one. All right, so we have the 5 participants here. Now I will very quickly, I mentioned I will initiate the quiz so that while we are discussing these cases, you can submit your website for the review. So I've launched a poll. So you have to just submit your website there. Just type in the link of your website, and I will keep that poll open for some time, and then during that time you can submit your website. In the meantime, we will quickly move ahead and we'll start reviewing. So this is the first website that we are reviewing. This is Sunflex, and we have about us and our product lines, and then resources, uh, where there are certain pages. Now, always I start with a technical review, and there are 3 simple reviews, or 3 simple tech checks that I suggest doing for checking for AI, and they are actually not tests for AI. They are tests for SEO, but we can also use them for checking for AI. The first one is checking for indexing. The second one is checking for schema. Now, schema is where because in one of my previous webinar, there was a participant who was very tech savvy and he was an expert in SEO. He immediately pointed out that this is something which is used for SEO. Yes, it is, but the schema has become a lot more important, almost essential for AI, because without a schema, AI is not able to form an understanding about your product and your offerings. So this is where we'll take one of the product pages, pickleball, and we will try to run this test for schema. The third test which you can do is for page speed. So if the page speed is low, that will also impact your business. So that's where we will again quickly give the link and let the test happen. We will. All right, so let it happen. Let's first check for indexing. Now, what is indexing? What are we doing here? So we are checking or asking Google that for this website, how many pages do you have? Or how many pages information do you have? So this where we will quickly check, and this is where about 40 pages are there, which are indexed with AI. So this is good. Now, why do we do this test for indexing? What is the correlation with AI? If this is impacted, or your website is not indexed here, or few pages are indexed, that indicates that there is some issue with indexing. And if Google is not able to index, then AI for sure is not able to index, right? So this is the indicative test that we do. The second test that we do is for schema. Now here we have run the schema on Pickleball, and there we have a snippet of organization, header, breadcrumb list, and footer. All right, so schema is there. Now, should we be happy that schema is there? or should we be worried, or what should be the response for Sunflex? The schema is there, which is good part, but this is where we don't have any schema which is talking about the information which is there on the page. Let me explain. The organization schema is talking about the company. Okay. Header is talking about the header. Breadcrumb list is talking about the breadcrumb list. Footer is talking about the footer. Now, all this which is there, all this information is out of schema, which means AI will not understand whatever wonderful information you have added here, right? So that is an issue. Now, without the right schema, no matter how nice and detailed information you have added, it will not be visible there, right? Another issue which I noticed is how the website is structured. So this is where all of these are added as a page. So this is where we are on paddle. So this is where you have sunflex.net/paddle. It should be products/paddles. So the product structure is not there. And with regards to information, yes, compliments. You have added quite a bit of information, and which is very nice, but I couldn't see a call to action here. Now, someone wants to inquire to you, where should, okay, they can come here. This is down below, so they can do that. But without schema, all this is invisible to AI. So that's there. Now, that is one part. This is where good that Sunflex has added a lot of details about the products. But what about the organization? There's a about us page. And are there any other pages? Privacy policies, their blogs is there, meet our team. Okay, there's one more page about the team. And this is where you have your history and you have customer. Okay, no, from the director, and then you have our promise, etc. Now, someone wants to understand about your manufacturing process, or what are the quality control processes that you're following, or how are you sourcing your raw material? Are you come in compliance with certain policies which are there for factory and establishment? None of that is there. Now, tomorrow, if someone asks AI that find me a supplier of pickleball who has these certification, who has these compliances, etc., you may not find your place. So that's where I ask that question, will you recommend my service to your friend? That comes here. That's where you have to research and understand what type of information is needed, or what detailed information is needed. So that is where about the business information is on a lower side. Product information, yes, you have created it, but without schema, it is entirely invisible without the right schema. Sorry, let me correct myself. Without the right schema, without the product schema. Now, many of you may be wondering, like, what should be here for the product? Let's go to one of the websites. Sorry. And I may have, because I didn't want it to take a lot of your time. So I had already opened this product page. So I'm going to run the test on this and show you what ideally should be there. Now you can also have like header and all that. Those should be, that can be there. They are not doing any damage, but what are the two most important for the product? Firstly, organization. It basically tells like what is the, to which company this product belongs. Second is product. Now, without this, even this type here, you can see type. I'm highlighting it for everyone. Now, if this type is something else, it is web page, or it is creative article, or creative work, then also AI will have a different understanding, because this is where you're telling that this is a product. This is the name, this is the description, these are the images, etc., etc. All that is there, and AI can consume it and it understand. Okay, tomorrow if there is a requirement for moong dal, I know Lakshya Organics has organic moong dal, so I can recommend them. And obviously, it will be based on lot of other things also, but that's where the understanding comes. Now, if these things are not there, despite the fact that you have a phenomenally good looking website, and here we have a very good looking website, but AI wise, gaps are there. And this was the main purpose of today's webinar, to highlight to you that we are not ready. All right, let's quickly move to the next one. So this is where we have RTC, and we'll quickly do the test. So only one page. Why? Is it a one-page website? Looks like that. No, it has other pages, but why only one page is indexed? Right? So you can see only one page is there. Trade on trust. This is surprising. Why only one page? Now that's a question, because ideally it should not be, because you have the company page. Let's try to open it separately, because in certain websites, I've also noticed that the pages can't be opened separately, but this is where your page is getting opened. So why only one page is indexed? Why all this company founder mission, all this is not indexed? Let's go to your product so that we can check for schema. Although we can check for schema on other pages also. Why I am so fascinated about the product pages, because product is what fundamentally buyers are searching for. No one is searching for like Adnan, no one is searching for ABC Enterprises, right? Everyone is searching for the product. So that's where product is the most crucial thing on your website. If you don't have product detail pages, that's where you are having a website which is good for nothing if you don't have product detail pages, because that's where you're out of the game even before it started. Now, this is where, again, very good, very nicely designed, and this is looking at it, we can tell it is a AI designed website. Now, there's a lot of visual elements. Now, this is where, again, a suggestion, uh, don't add images. I'm not saying don't add images. I'm not saying this illustration, this entire illustration that you have added, it is entirely an image. Now, this cannot be consumed by AI. If it had been in a text element, and with AI, you can easily design that. You can easily design this entire interactive. This is designed by AI, so you can easily do that. So ideally, it should have been like this. That's where it would have held. But because you don't have schema, it only has footer. Now this is where we have gone down. Earlier we had organization, we had breadcrumb, etc., etc. This is where only footer is there. So all this is invisible. All this information that they have added, key features and etc., etc. All that is not visible to AI. And this looks like a fairly new website. I'm not sure when did you created it, but it looks like a fairly new website. And the key product information is way too low in the product page. Like I had to scroll down all the way to the bottom. That's where I was able to find it. So try moving it up, but most importantly, schema. Without that, it is all missing out, and you have a problem with your indexing also. So that is there. Now for the company, let's quickly have a look and see what do we have here. So this is where we have certain pieces of information. Founders. Okay, Nikhil G. And we have the mission. All right, wonderful. So we have a bunch of information there. Now, other than that, from the trust perspective, your certifications, testimonials, case studies, or other than that, quality control process with a lot of uh, traders or merchant exporters. Buyers want to know what is the quality control process, or what type of licenses you have, or what type of affiliations you have. So those kind of things are not there, which will eventually impact AI's understandability. But more importantly, without schema, anything that you add or all of this is invisible to AI. Let's go move on to the next one very, very quickly. And I hope by now all of you are able to relate to why I had been stressing so much on the fact that this is not a guarantee. Having a website is not a guarantee that you are, yeah, understandable. Now, I will talk about this in a moment. Let me first run this test. And while it runs, we will go back to the website. Now, this is where we are reviewing the websites of TMA International. And here they have products listed like this. So if you go to products, that's where you will land on this page. And here they have different categories for desert coolers, for home appliances, heavy machineries, etc., etc. Now, if we go to one of their categories, that's where you will go to a further category page, which is about the motor pump. So, and this is where they have specified that these are the products that we deal in, right? Is this okay or this is not okay? Should there be more information to it, or should this approach be followed by others also, wherein you can just write the names of the products and you are good to go? The answer is no, you should not be taking this approach. This is where each one of these should have a page. Motor steel shafts. In fact, you can have a page for this shaft, a page for this shaft, a page for this shaft, a page for this shaft. So this is where you have to be as detailed as possible. That is very important for your search visibility as well as AI visibility, because that's where precisely you have to tell that this is the product that I deal in. Because when a procurement manager will be asking AI, it will be that person, he or she will be giving precise dimensions. I need a shaft which should be this long and it should be this wide or thick, and it should have this type of tensile strength, it should have this material and this type of threading, etc., etc. You will not have any of that if you're following this approach, right? So you have to be as detailed as possible. This approach is not the right approach for AI. Now let's see what we have for schema. Firstly, yes, we have to check for indexing. And indexing, why it looks okay, almost like 70 pages are there. Now, why is a demo page indexed? I just noticed it. Kindly get it removed. Why is the demo page indexed? And let's go and let's see others. So I can see there's some search engine optimization effort that you have put in, which is nice, but get that demo page removed. Now coming to schema, that's where you have item list. And do we have any product related information? No, in fact, it is listed as a service. Are you offering this as a service? No, it is not a service. There's a product that you're offering, right? So why is it listed as a service? And in international, and the name of the service is international and domestic trading, comprehensive procurement and logistics support for metal components, etc., etc. So I am not sure, like, why is this so different from the story that is there on your website? So there is an issue. Firstly, the product schema is not there. Even the item list schema is positioning you as a service provider rather than as a manufacturer and supplier of these products, right? So that's where the gaps are. Now, with regards to the business information, I think you have just a about us page. Other than that, the information about your infrastructure, I believe you must be having a very uh, nice and elaborate infrastructure, factories and warehouses, etc. You should be talking about that. You should be talking about the certifications. You should be talking about the quality control processes and safety procedures that you have in your factory. And you should be talking about testimonials and case studies that you have, and a lot of things. I'm just talking from my head, but realistically, there is a lot of information about your business that should be there to make your business properly understandable to AI. Now, let's quickly move to the next one, and we'll quickly run the test. Okay, not indexed at all. Not even a single page is there. Why is that? Okay, so we are in products. Okay, there's opening, which is good. Now, let's go to millets. I came back to this page because I wanted to talk to you, all of you, about something, and this is where I'm not seven C's export. Please excuse me, but I wanted to highlight this to everyone in the audience. Now, here you are seeing millets, you are seeing rice, you are seeing jaggery, you are seeing bananas, you are seeing spices. Now, just asking, will there be someone searching for spices? I'll say that again. Will there be someone searching for spices? No. They'll be searching for turmeric. They'll be searching for black pepper. They'll be searching for coriander. That's where this will not work. And this is where you have reduced your own chances of getting discovered. Because this is where, with this approach, there's hardly unlikely that you'll get any benefit from all the effort that you have put in here. Plus, the content which is there, it is very broad, which will again not help you. So don't follow this approach. You are serious. I can see that because you have already put in a lot of effort in creating this website. Go that extra mile. Create individual pages for each one of them. This will become a category. In fact, a very important thing I would want to highlight to all of you, because we had been talking about spices, so it just struck me that if you have to think about structuring your product, you have to go to that level. Now, this is where we have seen that uh, 7C's export has just listed spices. You should not be doing this. Now, even if you are listing individual spices, imagine that you are dealing in cardamom, you are dealing in clove, you are dealing in black pepper, you are dealing in coriander and chili and turmeric. So you will be uploading each one of them. Now, for a moment, think about just one product. Think about black pepper. Black pepper has varieties. It is not like they will just be searching for black pepper. They'll be searching for Malabar black pepper, right? You have not listed that, but someone has listed it. Will AI recommend you? You know that. So even a product becomes a category. So spice, and then you'll have black pepper. Then you'll have products which will be Malabar and Tellicherry black peppers. And even in Malabar and Tellicherry, you have grades of it, like M1 grade, M2 grade. So you'll have sub variations to it, right? You can understand like how deep it will actually go. And you have to go to that depth if you really and seriously want to become AI recommendable, right? So just wanted to highlight that so that all of you head on the right path. Let's check for schema. There is no schema. So this is where I was just telling you that I have reviewed a website. Now this is where this is. Just look at it, how beautiful website is. But this is not giving any benefit. No indexation, no schema. Good to look at, not serving the business. Right. So I thought this will help. Now, there are one, two, three, four more websites, but I'm also conscious of the time. So let's quickly review one more, and then we'll move to the next part of our discussion very, very quickly. But by now, you must have understood that having a website is no guarantee. So indexing, it is there, right? Let's go for one of the products. I think this is there, and this is where the URL structure is correct. All right, so let's wait for the schema. In the meantime, we'll quickly have a look. So this is where you have different products. There's about us, there's certification also. So this is in today's demonstration, this is the first website which has certification. Let's quickly have a look at it. Now, this is also of no use unless you have linked your certificates here. Yes, you have linked the certificate, so which is nice, but you should be talking about the certificate, because this is where for AI to just glance at the images. Now you may be thinking like AI can see the images. Yes, it is. But when it is asked for, when it's scrolling the information, it will not. So you should be mentioning like this is ISO certificate, this is AHK certificate, this is GMP certificate, this is FDA certificate. You should be talking about that and what the certificate means, etc., etc. So that should be there. Otherwise, this will not benefit, because AI will not understand what are you saying, what are the certificates, what are these images that you have added. Now, about us is way too less. Ideally, one page, and this is where if we are going by the SEO terms, it should have around 300 to 500 words worth of content. This may not even be 50 words, and your website also don't have schema. So the products are essentially invisible to AI. Right. So that's where you have issue. You are not visible to AI. Now this is where there are two more or three more websites that are left. So I will cover them after the webinar, because this is where I am also conscious of the time. So very quickly, I'll go back to the presentation and walk you through. Now I've already started the poll. So this is a complimentary 2-minute AI readiness review, how it happens, similar to how I reviewed the website and I shared my recommendations or my feedback, whether your website is helping you become AI recommendable or not. So I'll record a 2-minute video and I will share that video with you, and then you know where do you stand. So that is something which is already there, and I have so far only 47% of attendees have opted for it. So I would recommend that you should avail of this. At least you will know where do you stand. So that is there. I am not closing the poll as of now. We will keep it there for a few more minutes, and then I will close it. So if you have already not submitted your website for the review, please do that. Now coming to the pillar one, and that is information about the business. Now, imagining that the same Irwin in today's day and age is a garment exporter. So what all information his website should be carrying? So about us is something that we all know: why choosers, company profile, leadership team, factory infrastructure, product development process, sampling process, bulk production, quality control process, fabric sourcing, packaging, labeling, lead time, and FAQs. You can imagine how much information is required, right? So that's where the ideal strategy is based on your industry, your business, and your product. A research is done, and that is an approach that we take. So, for a moment, if I switch my screen and let me see if I can take you here. So, we help businesses become AI recommendable. And that's where when we start working on their projects, we do a research and we are try to understand what information is needed. And based on that, we then create the content. So for this particular business, which is into manufacturing and export of essential oils and perfumes, when we did the research, we identified that these are the pages, and you can see there are almost 10, 12 pages which are there. And similarly for this business, different pages, for this business, different pages, this business, different pages. Again, it is all based on research. So it is not like there is a one size fit all. Adnan recommended I should be having infrastructure page. I should be having, no, it is not the right way. Every business is different. Every product is different. So that's where ideally a research should be done, and then the topic should be identified, and then the content should be created. So that's the right approach which you can also consider taking. You can use AI also to do this research and understand, but you have to go in extreme detail. That's the more important point that you should be taking. Now, with regards to product, you should also look at from your customer's perspective. One way is this traditional way, again, imagining that Arvind is a garment manufacturer. So he is having menswear, kidswear, etc., etc. Now, from the buyer's perspective, they may be looking at activity wear or sportswear or leisure wear or lounge wear, or they may be looking for private labeling, or they may be looking for uniforms, etc. So what is their perspective? You should also be categorizing your products from their perspective, right? So let me show you a real life example. If I have that open, or let me just very quickly open it. Now, this business which I'm showing to you, this business is into natural beauty product. Now, traditionally, if you go to any of these beauty products website, you will find like you have face wash, hair wash, etc., etc. The products are there. Now, the approach which I am suggesting, that you should also look at it from customers' perspective. Like they are looking for solutions to their problems. So they have acne, they have dry hair, they need anti-aging solutions, etc. So create those same product. It is not like you have different products, but this combination of products helps with anti-aging, or these are the products that I have. Now, if you're going the product route, yes, if the customer is looking for a face wash, they can go from there. But if the customer is looking for an anti-aging solution, they can go from here. That's where they will be easily able to find you. And then you can also create additional content pages to support this. So, for example, sustainable apparel. How are you creating sustainable apparel? How are you sourcing your raw material sustainably? And how are you doing the production sustainability and all that, or fabric capability, printing and embellishment? These are examples. You don't have to literally create these, but you can also create support pages for the product or the product offering, which can be service offering also. The third is the trust part. That's where, again, for Arvind, being a garment manufacturer, different certifications that you have. Then you have case studies, testimonials, buyer reviews, factory. Now, if later today, I suggest that if you are a manufacturer, you have a factory establishment, try to find Chinese manufacturers of the same product. And for sure, you will find a page detailed or talking at detail about their factories. While that is not the case in India, right? So we are a little conservative there, but we have to be as detailed as possible. So about your factory, or your media mentions, award and recognitions, or everything that makes you appear credible and trustworthy. In fact, your quality control process can also come here, or health or safety regulations, etc. Anything that is adding value, making you look more genuine, more trustworthy, all that should be there in form of pages. Schema supported content, easily consumable by AI, that will help you. Lastly are the tests. I've already shown you those tests. Now that's where all this filtration happens. And so you should have your identity, all those business related. Then you should have the trust shield. You should have the proper content, technical readiness. And then lastly, you will become AI recommendable. Now, in addition to that, a lot of people, when I interact with them in person, they all ask me this question that just having a website, if you are recommending that we should have a AI understandable website, is that enough or there are other things? No, because that will help AI understand you. Understanding you does not guarantee you recommend you. You may have understood me, right? We have spent half an hour or almost an hour now. So you may have understood me, and you can research about me, but would you recommend me? There are other things to it. So that's where you have to work on few other things. For example, blog articles, which has been traditionally used for SEO. Now you can use it more powerfully for building your knowledge authority, right? You can research and you can find out questions which your buyers are asking. Answer them in form of a blog article. Keep doing that. It will improve your domain authority. It will make you a knowledge expert, and it will help you with that. Similarly, social media, having social media presence and regularly posting is very important because that's where it gives signals. And Google My Business. It is so important to the extent that many experts in AI discoverability space call it passport for AI recommendability. So that's where your Google My Business should be updated properly. It should have a search engine optimized description of your business. All your social angles should be in your most important products should be linked to it, and you should be regularly posting updates onto your Google My Business. If you haven't done that, you should also be doing that. So those are the things that you should be doing regularly to become AI recommendable. And if you do that, that's where the modern Arvind will be able to meet the modern king, that is the procurement head, and you'll be able to grow your business. So that is the end of my presentation. This is where I'm going to turn off the screen share. All right, so let's see. So still only 48%. So it has grown from 43. So anyone, this is the last minute uh, for submitting your website for. I can see in the chat few participants are sharing their websites. I would recommend that you share it in the poll because mm, that is one place we can go and check, and we can then do the AI review. So I would request that you submit your websites for review in the poll that is running. So we'll keep it running for a few more minutes and then we'll close it. So let's have a look at the question. So okay, there is a question, and this is a logical question. And this is from Mr. Raja, and his question is, why don't we just give the website to AI and see how much it understands? So I'll answer it with a slightly different explanation. I'm not sure how many of you are parents, but those of you who are parents or will be becoming parents in future, you will be sending your children to school and making them study, learn, and then they go for exam, right? Now, if you are not making them learn and immediately going to the exam, that's where what will be the outcome. Obviously, you know the outcome. So, reviewing the website through these elements, yes, it helps us understand whether we are ready for that exam. AI reviewing the website is obviously the exam, but we have to ready ourselves. That is where these checks are there. In fact, if you go to any of these AI tools and you ask that we have to check our websites for generative engine optimization, and what are the checks that way? So exactly the checks which I recommended in or showed to you in today's session, they'll be recommended. It will give you four more, far more detailed checks which are there, but those are slightly technical, and I didn't wanted to confuse the audience, so I haven't covered that. But these tests which I shared with you, yes, those will be there. All right, so that was the question which was there, and let me quickly go through the questions. All right, so I can see there is a question by Vijayshri. The question is, my website is under development. Can we have the details? Yes, absolutely. After the webinar, you'll get an email from my side with the recording of today's webinar. You can reply to that once the website gets ready. You'll have my contact detail. All right. So how can you contact me? I am sharing my contact details with all of you. And in fact, you will get an email from my side also with the recording. So you can reply to that. But otherwise, I am sharing my contact details with all of you. And those who have submitted their websites for review, they will get a personal email, because I will be doing that review myself. So I'll review the website and share the recording with you. So it will be a uh, short 2.5 minute video wherein I'll explain like what are my findings, and I'll let you know where the gaps are, and I'll also propose a solution to fix that. So there is a interesting question I just saw in the chat from Meda Bhavana, and the question is, how can our company, become visible to AI? So, firstly, the checks which I shared in the webinar, wherein identity, capability, trust, and technical, you should be there on that. That will ensure that you are AI understandable. Then the other things, your Google My Business, properly updated, and regular posts and updates. Social media, regular posts, blog articles regularly. You can keep building on it, and then on in addition to that, forums, etc., wherein you are contributing, and the content that you're creating should be for the user. It shouldn't be a marketing jargon that you're making, and that will further confuse or rosy languages, etc., which adds no value. So those kind of things you should not be doing. So that's where it is a relatively longer subject, but interestingly, this is something that we had explored for quite a long time. And making a business AI recommendable not only requires the technical know-how, it also requires specialized content creation, content presentation, etc. So all that is needed. So after a lot of deliberation and working with exporters and businesses, we have ourselves launched a service that is called the Done For Me B2B website setup service. And that service is created specifically to make businesses AI recommendable, because there are multiple challenges to it. Your knowledge is one challenge. Like even technology professionals, everyone is not equipped or capable to transform a business from AI perspective. The second challenge is content itself. What content has to be created in what form? Because if you tomorrow you create long form content, AI may not be able to consume it. So you have to also format it, and it should have the right structure at the back end. The third challenge is the continuous change that keeps happening. AI is evolving, and it is evolving at a tremendous pace. So you have to also keep evolving yourself. You have to also keep adopting newer things which are coming. So that's why it becomes difficult that you fix one thing and you tomorrow you become AI recommendable. So that's why we have launched this service so that we ensure that everything is in place and we are helping our business, and whatever newer things are coming, we are adopting those and implementing those. So that's why we have built that service, and the link is there in the chat. My colleague Supriya has shared that link in the chat. So if any one of you is interested in making your business AI recommendable without spending a lot of time and effort onto it, because this is a totally turnkey service wherein our team does everything. You get involved only two times. One, when the project gets started, and second is where the project ends, and that's where my web team presents the website to you. Everything else, content research, content creation, everything is done by us. So that is a service. The link is there in the chat. You can consider availing that service if you are serious about making your business AI recommendable and without spending a ton of time, effort, and sweat into it. So that's where that is a service which will help, and with the right content and right best practices also. All right, so that is there. Any other question? Because I can see we have overshot our time by 15 minutes, and I'm conscious of everyone's time. So if there are any other question, any last minute question, I can. All right, so any question? All right, so I am guessing there are none. So I am ending the poll also. So it is ended, and this is where we will conclude the session for today. You already have my contact detail, plus you will be getting an email from my side with the recording. So you can reply to that email as well if you have questions or if you would want to connect with me personally. And I look forward to hearing from all of you. And more than that, I hope you have gained some knowledge or at least an understanding that some action is required. We all are not prepared for AI, and you'll be working on making your businesses AI recommendable. All right. So, all the best and thank you for your time. Have a wonderful evening ahead. Bye bye.